Hey guys, welcome back.
Oh my god.
We're here. We're here. It's been well, my wrist tells me it's been a little bit since we've been gone.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. Pretty much, as you guys have all know, for those of you who watched Bench Questions in the past, my wife kind of had a baby, and that pretty much just took everything off the rails. So patience is a virtue, guys, and now we're gonna bring this back. And we're going to bring it back like gangbusters. And, of course, the question bucket. It is back. I almost want to paint this thing like a bright gold, but then I'd cover up all these badass stickers, and then I have to start that collection again. And, well, there's stickers in here I can't replace. So, again, if you guys have stickers, I think this year I'm going to set up a P.O. box. I've had a lot of people actually asking to send us stuff, which is pretty neat. Not just stuff for review on videos, but, hey, guys, I really like your shit. Can I send you something? So I think this year I'm going to open a P.O. box and just allow you guys the opportunity to send us, like, you got some stickers, you got some stuff. I don't care.
Money.
I'll flog it. If it's a shirt, I'll wear it. If it's a hat, I'll put it on my head. If it's a sticker, it goes on the bucket. Or on the pit mat. I even put stuff on the filming pit mat as well, which is pretty fun. But, guys, we're back again, and you know how this works. Benchquestions@gmail.com. You can send the question in, and basically it's going to go into the bucket, and then we get together as a group, and we pull the random questions out of the bucket, and of course the idea is that it's a question that's more of a panel-based question, and then I bring people. We all have different, like Steve's back to racing again, you know. Antler's huge on the building right now,
yeah.
Mostly because you're building so many kits you don't have time to run them. And then you guys know me. I'm all about scale. I love my SCX-10s. I love building my projects. So, and I've got a racing background. Some people more than me when it comes to everything, but whatever. I pretend like I know what's going on anyway. They say fake it till you make it. That's a lesson they'll teach you kids when you grow up. Fake it till you make it. Eventually, you'll sound like you know what you're talking about.
Say it with confidence. It's all that matters.
Yeah. Just be confident. Just tell everybody it's bigger than it is, and eventually they'll believe it. Anyway, so again,
that's how we got his wife.
Yeah. Send the questions to benchquestions@gmail.com. Again, just remember, let me know who you are and also where you're from, because a lot of guys love to get the shout outs. And also, go check out the Scale Freak Facebook page, because there's a lot of chatter and stuff that goes on there as well. And it's not like it used to be where I'm literally going to go into every single RC group that ever existed and post that I made this video. It really just goes in a couple different groups. I can think of RC Militia, Scale Freak.
Soccer?
No, I put RC Militia and Scale Freak. So those are pretty much the two places you're going to find it. And then you can do whatever. You can link it to other people from there. Be my guest. But remember, the best way to find out when the video comes in is just to subscribe to the YouTube channel. When I checked earlier today, we have almost 9,000 people now.
Wow.
I figure I would say probably by the beginning of June, conservatively, we'll have 10,000 subscribers. Blows my mind. I remember the dance I did when I hit 100. I was like, the 100 subscriber dance. And apparently,
I remember the 1,000 subscriber dance. Too.
Yeah, and then there's been a few dances since then. And just so you know, that the 10,000 subscriber dance looks a lot like that as well. So you've already seen it. You don't need to ask for it later. But you know what, guys? These people have been waiting a long time, and a lot of people have been like, "Bring back bench questions." Yes, I agree. Bring it back. You know what? Let's like you were saying, let's get this episode started quickly, or let's get this episode started correctly.
Chris Keddy.
There you go. We always have to
Gotta mention him once.
Gotta mention him once. Oh, here's something neat. I want to point this out. If you rewind in all of our past videos, you will find Mr. Taylor here having a very poor opinion of Losi, saying he would never, ever ever own one. Check this shit out. Now, I'm not going to ask him what his opinion is on it, because I already know. I'm just pointing out that he owns one. It's a little mini 8T. This thing is actually pretty neat. It's like a Truggy, only smaller. But yes, the servo's broken already, and Steve is pissed that it needs special parts.
And this spring, he's getting a Vespa.
Nothing wrong with a Vespa.
Oh, no one knows you have it.
Yeah. And
Depends
also,
if you're mod or not.
I do want to note, you'll notice no Nutella on the table. I have not eaten Nutella since the last time you saw me eat Nutella on camera, and then everyone was making fun of me about buying the big jar, I have not eaten it
or the
since.
truck that was the big, huge 1 million liter truck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Haven't. And this Coke, I have one a week. Celebrating with you guys. Yeah, Pepsi.
Yeah.
Get out of here. All right, back into the bucket, guys. We know how this works. So again, I'm going to pull a question. There's actually a bunch of questions in here. A lot of people were still sending questions during the
Hiatus.
the off season,
The hiatus.
the hiatus. You know what? At least it's not like Top Gear. Top Gear plays like 8 to 10 episodes, and then they're gone for a year. Okay, we've been gone for a bit, and we probably only had 8 to 10 episodes.
So we're a lot like Top Gear.
Okay.
We're the RC Top Gear.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's some pretty big shoes.
Is
to
it
fill,
good
though.
to be Clarkson or not Clarkson?
I'd rather be Clarkson.
I don't want to be James May.
No. That's Captain Slow?
All right, you kept it slow. All right, on to the first question. So Brandon Johns from Tennessee is the lucky guy to have the first question back. He says, I'm pretty new to the hobby, and I love my SCX-10, but I want something to bash, raise a little hell with. What would you recommend? A Wraith, a Slash, a Twin Hammer? And let's not limit ourselves to that. Steve, what are you thinking on this? So he wants to raise some hell, and he loves the SCX-10. What do you got for him?
For a bashing standpoint? Well, I don't know. I really love the Twin Hammers.
Okay.
I think the Twin Hammers is pretty cool.
Okay.
First of all, you can still take it out on the trails if you want to instead of having your SCX.
Yeah.
But you put a good brushless motor in that thing and it goes like a scared rabbit. We've all seen the rednecks.
All you hear the redneck is yee-hoo going through the forest.
I love the solid axle.
Yeah, that's
you
a
could,
neat
if
design.
you could if you wanted to get really start customizing, I would love to see somebody make one of those things into a Torque Series truck and make it into a real short course style truck. I think it would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think you're right with that as well, because you could actually add that whole back chassis section. Would be pretty neat. And neat enough, I've been to a Torque race. The trucks are a very small portion of it. The buggies are much like that. You can see them there, and they're a part of the show. And yeah, you could get something neat out of that.
Yeah.
So you're saying Twin Hammers. What are you thinking?
I'm still leaning towards Slash.
I love the Slash.
Everyone's got one. You can get parts almost anywhere. And I mean, let's face it, if you're bashing, you're going to want to do something stupid. And when stupid happens, you want something strong.
Yeah, if you're
you
gonna
want
be-
something you can fix.
If you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's waterproof.
Waterproof.
The Slash is a good option. I mean, when I used to have the track and I used to have rental trucks, I used to use Slashes. And I mean, Slashes, you can pick up parts. Well, in Canada, we've got Future Shop and Best Buy. In the States, you have Best Buy. You can pick parts up
And I think Walmart even carries it too.
anywhere, yeah.
In the US.
And those stores are open later than the average hobby shop, where Axial, you're primarily, at least here in Canada, you're going to a hobby shop for that. In the States, I'm also told that you can...
Walmart has Axial.
can get them as well. But I remember seeing they were online orders. I don't know if they're actually in store. I've hit up the Walmart in the States a couple times. They didn't have any RC stuff, but that was before they picked up Traxxas. I don't know. But my opinion, I'm going to go with the Wraith on this one. But that's mostly because I like it.
You want it.
I want one, yeah. I don't want a Twin Hammers. I think the kit is really, really neat. But I think if I were to go so far as to get a Twin Hammer, I'd probably just make the jump and go to a Yeti. Which is a neat... Don't count that as... Maybe I'd get a Yeti.
Well, if you're gonna, instead of going with the Wraith, I'd go Yeti.
Yeah, I wouldn't get the Yeti XL. That really does limit some stuff because it is so big. You need more space. They're like rhinos, really fast in a straight line. No turn so much.
And you want to put power in that thing.
Yeah, I think it would be a cross between the Wraith and the Yeti. It depends, because with the Yetis coming out, everybody and their brother has a used Wraith to sell. But we all know my opinion on buying used. So I think when it comes down to, I would go for either a Wraith or a Yeti, but it all depends on what has a better availability of parts to you. Because the real biggest trick about bashing and raising hell is, and again, we'll go back, and I point up to the ceiling because my Savage is in the attic right there. I know exactly where it is. You go bashing on a Sunday afternoon, you break that Savage in the first 10 minutes, you're done. Because even the hobby shop that's local to me when I was doing the Savage was closed on Sunday and Monday. So I had to wait till Tuesday to buy my parts. install them on a Wednesday, and wait till Sunday to go back out again.
And break them.
And
Again.
yeah, spur gear.
Buy 5.
It was a savage, right? I mean, well, that's the problem. Is that hobby shop? And I only ever had one at a time. And you'd buy it on a Tuesday, and they'd have to reorder it and wouldn't get it till next Tuesday. So it's not like you'd even pick up a spare.
Yeah.
Wonder why that hobby shop's not doing that great. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. All right, let's head into the next question here. I'm going to see if it's for the same. Okay, so here we go. So this one here is from Matthew Berg. On YouTube, you can find him as Monster Bash Productions. So he said, I like this question. When I wrote this one down, and guys, you actually may be able to read this.
Since he started selling cars, his handwriting went from chicken scratch, oh, Dr. Ferguson, to, oh, wow, you can actually read it, because he had to.
It's actually it's actually funny enough that I just went through the bucket to find what some of the old questions were, and some of the old questions, the handwriting was so poor, I couldn't read it now. So sorry guys, a couple questions got ditched. But anyway, the question for this one is, if you only had to choose only one company to get upgrades from, what company would you choose? And what parts would make you mainly choose that company? Now, again, guys, this doesn't have to be limited to scale or racing or anything like that. It could be just pick a topic, because I'll pick scale, and just say what company that would be. So I'm going to say it first. For scale, I would pick RC4WD. And RC4WD, now, please let me add that there are some companies out there that make some amazing stuff, but not to the level of RC4WD, not to the catalog of RC4WD. You know, there's some companies out there, let's see, SSD that makes some sick bumpers. Wow, and some really nice rims. But they don't carry servos and links and axles, and so I'd be stuck. I wouldn't have anything. You know, or you get something like Vanquish that obviously makes an absolutely amazing product, but I want to be able to get it and not wait too long to get stuff. Or, again, they don't. But when you look at a company like RC4WD, they do make, or at least distribute, RC4WD speed controllers, receivers, radios, servos, scale bumpers. And when I say scale, I mean licensed bumpers and winches and all of that stuff. So, and they have their own kits too. So I could literally buy a RC4WD kit, outfit it with RC4WD upgrades, dress it all up with RC4WD stuff.
Yeah.
And I could stay with that one company, which, guys, if you look at my videos, most of the stuff that I do reviews on I got from RC4WD. And it's not necessarily that I keep going back to that company. It's they keep releasing shit that I want to buy. I want to actually own. And that's why that truck has, well, they're behind that banner. They're just covered in RC4WD parts. Now, in saying that, I am switching it up a little bit and getting other different parts onto these trucks. And as far as what parts would mainly make me choose that company, I just told you. All the scale stuff that you could get for it blows my mind. How about you?
My big one would be Reflex Racing right now.
Yeah.
Just because in the last month or so, when I've been racing and, you know, break apart and it's like, geez, I wish I had a better part to do this. And the guy's just like, hey, check out Reflex Racing. And every part I've come up with, it's like, wish I had a new bumper for this, better mount for that. Boom, it's there. Boom, it's there. You know.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've kind of specialized down a lot of the parts that, you know, take a TC 6.2, I've got 2 of them now. Every part that, you know, man, I wish they did this a little better. They've got, you know, some of the, you know, one-off stuff that people are running. They've redesigned that. I mean, they seem to have a pretty good idea of what people are breaking, what they're looking for, and what they really want.
Plus, they also sell stock parts too. So
Yeah.
if you need to order stock parts while you're ordering the other stuff, you can get that stuff in
That
too.
helps, yeah.
So that helps out a lot.
Okay, so Reflex Racing. And again, that's more of a racing background.
That's a racing.
Yeah.
Because you pretend like you have time to race.
Pretend.
Steve, how about
5
you?
classes, come on.
Yeah.
It's only 5.
So, for anybody who've watched, again, my past YouTube videos, you've seen the Canadian Indoor Nationals, which I will be directing again at the end of March. End of March?
Yep.
End of March.
Yeah.
It is it is the largest on-road race in Canada. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And I'm the lucky guy that gets to stand there for 3 days with a microphone on my head. Oh my God, look at him go! Like, that's what I get to do for, for 3 days. But this bonehead here decided that he wants to race 5 classes. Touring car, VTA, World
12 GT.
12 scale, World GT, and F1.
F1.
5 classes.
World GT or US GT?
World GT.
Okay.
5 classes.
Not ready for USGT. It's
Keep in mind,
GTA.
well, these guys, 5 classes, each gets 3 qualifiers and a main and practice. 5 classes.
And a pitman.
And he needs a pitman.
I've booked the time off. I'm now his crew chief.
I'm just picturing like Days of Thunder, right? Be like, I'm dropping the hammer. No, you're not. And then he goes,
Match tires.
yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. So was it fast as loose and on the edge of control?
Yeah.
How about you,
Robin's
Steve?
racing.
And Robin is racing, unless you're with some of these guys, then they want to.
Hey, I want you to go back out there and hit the pace car.
Yeah,
Might
you hit,
sound like-
you hit everything else. You might as well make it
Might
perfect.
sound like Wayne Thomas.
I saw that picture.
Dick. What about you, Steve?
Well, that's really tough because right now I'm doing a lot of racing with my B5M, and there's several companies that I want to get parts from. The biggest one I think is Exotech. Exotech makes some awesome stuff for more than just my B5.
Yes.
We've dealt with the Exotech stuff with our SC10 4x4s in the past.
Yeah.
Phenomenal build quality. There's a bunch of parts I want to get for my B5M. So that and their reputation's second to none out there for their aluminum and their carbon fiber products. I want to get the Exotech front shock tower for my B5M because it's carbon fiber and aluminum to lighten it up. They've got titanium front spindles for my car, a bunch of stuff. Pretty much the entire catalog for the B5M I kind of want.
They can make a whole F1 car now.
Yeah, they can. They've got stuff for Losi, Associated, Durango, all the different types of race cars out there. Actually, they really started off getting into the old
18 scale stuff.
18 scale.
Yeah,
when they had
18 scale associated.
the
The
Associated.
RC18.
And they had an amazing, before the Associated ever came up with their on-road card, they had a carbon fiber chassis to convert your buggy into an on-road car. It was amazing.
They also had a neat chassis upgrade that I almost bought. I almost bought myself, what was it, the HPI F1 car. And then you could order this upgrade chassis that made it a demon. And apparently it is a contender. Now they also have a lot of F1 stuff for Tamiya. And I was actually on that site the other day because I was talking with RC Paint Labs. And I asked them, I said, listen, I just want to dink around because for any of you guys who watch my my Honda stuff, Honda and McLaren just got back together for F1, and they just released the new livery for the new car, and it blew my mind. So I emailed them over at F1 Paint Labs, and I said, "Are you going to be making a livery?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll have a whole sticker sheet done." And I said, "I have to have one. Which car do you recommend?" And the first thing on his list was an Exotech. He's like, "Get the Exotech. It's the bomb." And then when I told him that I'm not actually racing with it, I'm just going to be dinking around in the parking lot, what did he say? I think he said get the Tamiya from there because it's a little more durable on the chassis and stuff like that. It's less made as a performance monster machine, where the Exotech is pure racing, like built to be a demon on the track. The Tamiya is built to be a scale demon, like not as much of a demon, or maybe a lesser demon.
Have you had a chance to check out RSD or Reflex Racing that he was talking about?
Not yet.
Because they also have F1 on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's another one for you to check out for your F1 stuff too. So yeah, those are all 3 really, really good options for
Yeah.
parts.
Yeah. Okay, so Reflex, Exotech, RC4WD. Racing, not racing. Driving slow everywhere I go.
Actually, he drives slow in his car now too.
Yeah, man. The
He
whole
gets rid of the Cavalier, and all of a sudden, and he gets a baby, and he becomes Mr. Responsible.
yeah, like I drive with 2 hands on the wheel now. I feel like a grandpa, but even when my kid's not in the car. But that end, if something happens to my license, I lose my job. I have the best job I've ever had in my life. If I lose my license, I lose my job. So I'm not messing around. So there's actually a couple questions in here from Brandon Johns this week from Tennessee, so he gets lucky this week. His question is,
Ooh, lucky him.
I want
He gets
to
lucky.
yeah, I want to upgrade my stock motor and ESC from my Honcho. Should I go with the Tekin 30 turn or 35 turn? I do a lot of trailing and some rock crawling. Now, if I remember correctly, no, he didn't ask about a 2-cell motor or a 2-cell battery. I don't believe he was. I think somebody else had a question about a 2-cell.
Yeah.
So let's just assume that he can use whatever battery he wants. Steve, what are you thinking? Would you? First of all, what would you go with? It doesn't have to be Tekin. He asked a 30 turn or a 35 turn, but
Need not go Tekin, especially in a crawler scenario.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, slightly off topic, there are people out there who do know that I've just recently put a hobby wing system in my race car. So I'm trying that out. I love Tekin, but the hobby wing's nice and it's inexpensive.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you can only run 2-cell, go with the 30 turn. If you have the option to go with a 2 or 3 cell, go with the 35 turn. If you're going to be just on the trails and doing some climbing, the 35 turn will give you the excellent torque, 2-cell or 3-cell. You'll also get better wheel speed for if you want to be in the mud if you're running on 3-cell with the 35 turn. If you're going to run the 30 turn, it's only for the 2-cell. I don't recommend 3-cell with the 30 turn.
No?
No.
No, because that would be a lot of voltage to put through that motor.
Yeah, and it's. I don't think Tekin even. I think Tekin says it's only for a 2-cell for the most part because it is a higher speed motor versus the 35, 40, 55, and 65 turns. So I would recommend 35 turn if you want to run the option of 3 or 2-cell, or 30 turn if you're only going to run the 2-cell.
How about you?
I'd go with the 35 as well.
Yeah.
Like just that, I found it for me, scale speed and the variability for it, like Steve said, right? 2-cell works great, 3-cell's awesome. You can almost interchange them as long as you know how to program your ESC properly.
Yeah, and that's exactly it too. And I feel the exact same way. So the 30 turn, I've never even dabbled with, and I don't think I even would because I run 35 turn right now, and I ran it on a 2-cell. I loved it. I put it on a 3-cell. I'll never go back to 2-cell. I loved it even more. But the trick is that I've actually considered going to a 45 turn. So I definitely wouldn't go to a 30. What's the stock motor that comes in at 27?
27 turn comes stock,
yeah. So I ran a 27 for a long time. Then I went to a 35. Loved it. And then like I said, I have been considering moving to a 45 turn, but that's because I wanted that super low end control, which you still get really well with a 35 turn. And I was actually considering, instead of low end control with a new motor, I was actually considering getting a 2-speed transmission to have a low gear. Because when I say low end stuff, like I've seen some Marlin videos where the guy gets out of his truck when it's in super low gear and idles it over the rocks and is his own trail guide. He literally runs beside the truck, finds his line, and the truck is very slowly, very, very slowly creeping along, and then he just turns the wheel up into the rock and he never even gets back in it. It's just idling, but the gear ratio is so low on idle he's crawling over all the rocks. I would love to be able to have that's one more reason why I wanted a Trail Finder too. I want the ability to crank it down and get a ridiculous gear reduction. I would love to have that, like literally full tilt and the truck is barely moving. And that's just because I do like the rocks. I really like the control on the rocks. I keep myself notes for stuff I want to look up later. So 35 turn from me, 35 turn from you, and then Steve is 30 turn for 2-cell, 35 turn if you're running a 3-cell.
Or 2-cell.
Or 2-cell.
I own the 35 turn in my kit and I loved it. I would never want to go to the 45 that you were talking about, but then again, I want to have that little extra wheel speed for when we're getting through the
Niagara Nasty?
The Niagara Nasty, because you need that wheel speed, because you're 45 even on 3-cell.
You either need the wheel speed, you need a wheel speed, or the best winch that ever existed.
Which now you have.
Now I have on that rig. So 35 turn is the general consensus. Mm-hmm. Now, in speaking about the 45 turn, Dave and Pumbaa have both moved to 45s at time, and then they moved to a 55 and immediately went back to a 45. So the 55 was way too far. So it kind of seems like the 35 is the happy medium for most people's use, at least here in Niagara. Mm-hmm. So, because here in Niagara, yes, we do have some clear mud, as Brian Parker likes to call it, but not as much.
We had some really dirty, goopy mud that Brian loved.
Yeah, that stuff was absolutely gnarly. All right, into the next question. This one here is from Dawson Beatty from Oklahoma. So he says...
Don't let him sing.
What are the advantages and the disadvantages of using a metal tube chassis on a Wraith or a back cage on an SCX-10? So, Steve-O.
Advantages. Strength, durability, more things to be able to mount to it.
Let's stop at advantages.
Okay, disadvantage.
No, advantages.
Okay.
Advantages? Customizable. You can make that chassis anything you want
Yep.
when you go in the tube.
Yep.
You know, all the little, I want to have a bend here. Put the bend there.
Yep.
You can do it.
Yep.
And I think they just look cool.
And that was the thing that I was going to say too, is that if you go and you take a look, again, advantages is like the bends, you could make it whatever you want. You could make it look exactly what you wanted. And then at that point, you don't even necessarily, like, we're talking a back cage on an SCX-10. Yeah, that's cool. You could make the whole damn thing and then make your own body panels. I was looking the other day, and one guy made his body panels out of Monster and Red Bull cans. It was phenomenal, but you can make it anything you want. That's a good point. And the weight, that's also a good point. Go check out Mad Ram, right? You check out Mad Ram 11, and you'll check out that they have a bunch of different custom, I mean, they're kind of like a Wraith. They're rock bouncers, and they're all different because the guys are like, I want mine to be individual. It looks like it's got a big nose, or mine looks like it's got a spider on the top of it. You can do whatever you want.
The other nice thing that I like about the rear cage like that, turn it into an exoskeleton on top of it. Now you can turn around, take your body, whether it's a hard body or a Lexan body, and exoskeleton the crap out of it. Give it that extra protection, more things to mount your winch, your lights, and everything else too on top of it.
More hard points, yeah.
And more hard points to attach for when you're doing your winch, when you want to crawl back to it with the reduction system, so you can get that and pull yourself out of a jam. So it just gives you more customizability,
Yep.
if that's a word.
Disadvantages.
Disadvantages? Biggest one I've seen is guys that don't build them right. Like a tube chassis is awesome and strong if you built it right, but if you shit the bed on it, one tumble down a hill and it's folded in half.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I mean, as I'm sure you've seen in some of our videos, we tumble down some pretty big hills.
Or I fall off rocks.
Yeah? Where's your exoskeleton?
Yeah. I'm going to have to wear a suit.
Or a helmet.
How about disadvantages for you?
I'm going to have to say weight again, because if you're only doing the back half, you're going to have a hell of a lot of weight in the rear of your vehicle versus the front. You're going to have to add a ton to the front, because it's going to make it a real pain in the butt when you're trying to climb a hill. Because when you got that, it'll want to wheelie and stuff like that. So the weight's an advantage and a disadvantage depending on how heavy you make it.
Yep. And for disadvantage with me, I would go with weight, but not only specifically the weight itself, top weight. Very high weight. If you wanted to offset the amount of weight you had on the top, you'd have to add a ton of weight on the bottom of it.
At least double it.
Yeah, and you will become a very, very heavy rig. If you're running, say, an SEX style, you've got a skinnier wheelbase, so it's very flippy-floppy. If you're running a Wraith style, you're probably going to max out your suspension and lose a lot of what it can do. For myself, I prefer to use a suspension like the King suspension, King Shock suspension, where I get like a nice medium point on my spring. I would have to add so much preload to that to bring my ride height back up, I'd pretty much just max out a spring. And I don't want to do that.
So that means you'd have to go out and buy new springs, and hopefully you can get them heavy enough to match it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be bouncier. It's going to be harder to compress your suspension and have it travel properly. So, yeah, you got to be careful on what you do at the same time. Yeah.
But the advantages, I honestly think that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. I think that
done right.
And you know what I really like as an advantage? Scale realism when you actually hit it against the rocks. You start scraping paint off. Don't paint it again. Rock rash looks amazing. I mean, I've actually got a set of RC4WD sliders on the F-bomb that I've had since the F-bomb was still a honcho, like original honcho. Yeah. That's all. That was his name back then, honcho. That are scarred up and partly rusted. I love it. But they're actually getting replaced very soon. Video to come. All right, so back in the bucket. There's a few more questions in here. Let's see what's going on. This one is from, I'm going to say it's Renee Straberg from Steelville, Missouri. And I got a giggle when I read this question. What do you think about Novak brushless? Steve, what do you think about Novak brushless?
Supernova? Oh, no, wait, that's what they do. Hate them. I've never owned... I've owned one and watched the motor and ESC go up in bright orange smoke and smoke out the entire racetrack because for some reason it did the first 5 laps no problem and then came to a dead stop and smoked like there was no tomorrow. I'll never own one again.
I've had 2 in all the years I've been racing.
And?
The first one was an incredible motor until it wasn't. I mean, I think it was probably the first trophy race I'd ever run. All day long. 130 degrees. beautiful temperature. Finished the main, and it melted on the last lap. Luckily, coasted across the line, kind of chugging, but then the second one wasn't ever the same as the first one.
So you're not having it?
I'm not having it.
Okay, so Novak, I've only ever owned two Novak motors in my life. But I've never owned a Novak speed controller, and the speed controllers are where all of the fun is at. By fun, I mean the magic orange smoke. So
Orange, purple, blue.
yeah, I as you guys know, I've had a hobby shop in the past. I sold some Novak stuff. That's fine. People wanted it. I brought it in for them. But typically it was a Tekin product because the Tekin stuff has always been really phenomenal for me. Of the Tekin speed controllers I've owned, I've only ever blown them up by reverse polarity. My mistake, it happened. Oh, I drowned a couple too. I drove them through some deep water and
Dried them out and they still work.
mine didn't.
Oh, no,
Everyone
yours
else did. Mine did not. So all of the brakes that I've had from Tekin were user error. I own that. And Tekin's been phenomenal about replacing them for me. The Novak stuff, almost, well, I can't say almost every Novak I've known because, I mean, there's a couple people that still have them.
Oh, yeah.
Of almost every single ESC fire I've seen was a Novak.
Or Castle.
The only castles I saw were that really bad bunch of SVs. That Sidewinder series?
From the short course.
Yeah, but that was limited, and they owned that problem. They fixed it right away. But Novak could be anything. It's almost like having a grenade in your car. My Novak motors, my 21.5 turn Novak motor that I had in my VTA car is possibly my most favorite motor I ever had in that car. The low end torque was unheard of. No other motor could match that, and I tried. I tried probably 6 or 7 different motors that season and couldn't get a motor that I was as happy with as, I'm going to say it's my motor, but it was actually Chris Keddy's motor, which is why I had to keep trying different motors. There, Chris Keddy again.
See?
The other motor that I had, and Steve knows this one very well, I had a 13.5 Novak motor in my old SC, my SC10, my team associated. And
Surprised I still don't have the fucking scar from that.
we were racing it indoors, and I was having a blast, and I was turning a lot of laps, and the truck was going faster than it had ever gone before, and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. And then it flipped, and Steve reached down to flip it over, and instantly contact burned his hand. We temped that motor at 386 degrees. Smelled funny, still ran, but something inside the motor shorted and just went super Novak. It was supernova.
Ran good till it didn't.
Ran good until it didn't. Exactly what it was. Actually, the motor is still in my possession. It's over there, and it probably will still run. But they've warned me that at like, was it 280 degrees, the magnet starts to demagnetize itself or something like that. So it'll run, but it'll be a bit of permanent limp mode. I really just keep it as a conversation piece at this point and a magnet to hold all my screws together.
Now, that being said, Novak's ballistic stuff, their Build-A-Motor ballistic series, pardon me, is supposed to be really good, and I know some people who do swear by it. Personal experience on any of their sport line stuff, just run as fast as you can.
And if you can get an older GTB ESC, keep it for life. That's like that bulletproof ESC that if you got it, nobody gets it from you. Like that's a keeper.
We know a few people who have those.
Still have them.
Yeah, and hunt them down.
Yeah.
Still got one.
You still got GTB?
One.
Mark West.
Yeah, Mark
loves
West.
his GTB.
Yeah.
And same with Dave True.
Yeah, and it's the first series GTB because I believe they did a GTB 2. First series GTB.
Yeah.
Keep it for life.
And the GTX, forget it.
Didn't they get up to a 3 at one point?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I stopped paying attention.
When they started to get smaller, they started to get crappier.
Yeah, when I kept watching people's trucks go up, like remember, was it Newstead's truck? Right in the middle of Ferrero? The truck just came to a screeching halt and then just
My car did.
right out the center of the truck.
I thought I had a lipo fire. It blew that much smoke so fast.
It smells bad.
Yes, it does.
Oh my God, does it smell bad? I am
remember
actually
that.
amazed that the smell of the burning lipo came out of his garage. I really thought forever that I would smell burning lipo for the rest of my life.
I still get a laugh out of that video. Yeah, don't worry, guys. I know exactly what I'm doing with the lipo. I know that I had to put it on nickel metal, but I'm really safe with these things. I know exactly what I'm doing. What's that? Oh, sorry. Click.
It was on a normal charge. It just And I'll admit that. I mistreated that battery. All right. So next question here is from Off-Road RC. It says, what should I upgrade on my SCX-10? I already have a metal bumper and links. So you're also, well, you know what? I seem to be Mr. SCX-10, so I'm going to answer this question first. If you already have the bumper and the links, oh, I don't even know. I'm assuming it's going to be a stock RTR, or if you just got bumper and links so far, you probably had plastic links and a plastic front bumper. One thing that I highly, highly recommend that you get to really improve your enjoyment and how much people like you is get a winch. As goofy as that is, I kind of want to change that already. Your tires.
I knew you were
Upgrade your tires. And upgrade them directly to Pitbull and never look back.
And Crawler Innovations foams.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Crawler Innovations foams.
You can't. I don't care what tire you put on there. Make sure you have Crawler Innovation foams.
Just go to Crawler Innovations right now and see if they have a combo available for you. And I hope you have bead locks because just gluing sucks.
Unless you know somebody.
Somebody.
Yeah, somebody should have seen the size of the tires I had to glue not that long
Those
ago.
are a beast. So yeah, tires slash foams. We'll call it one unit, one item. Tires slash foams.
Slash wheels.
Tire foams. Tire foam wheels.
Your wheel combination, period.
Yeah, the things that go on the corners.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you think? I can't say tire slash foams because I already did it.
No, I know, and I was going to say drivetrain. So upgrade. I say drivetrain. Unfortunately, that car encompasses too much, so I'll just say get a good motor speed controller, Tekin 35-turn hand wound combo. Probably a great way to go because it's 2 or 3 cell compatible. It gives you excellent power. Gives you a lot of torque, good reliability. I've never had a problem with mine. I don't know anybody who's really had a problem with any of their Tekins that we know of personally.
I haven't even rebuilt. When I talked to Randy Pike, when I first bought my Pro system, I said, what's the good about the Pro versus the not Pro? And he said, it's already dialed in, it's already broken in, it's already timed and everything like that. You just have to rebuild it every year.
What's that?
I haven't rebuilt shit. I just used the Cow RC motor cleaner, and I put those Trinity motor drops back in it.
Yeah.
Eh?
I think the most I've ever done was mine was bogging down real bad from driving it in a lot of the sand and water.
Yeah.
So I drove it through some water a bunch of times, got the dirt out of the motor, and I haven't had a problem since. I admit I'm not the best when it comes to maintenance of my motor on my scaler, because my scaler was one of those, I'm done, throw it in the trunk.
Yeah.
But
Remember somebody asked me a long time ago, what's the best way to clean your truck? I said, get the hose, don't cut your grass for a week. Get the hose, spray the grass, and then drive your truck around in the grass. Your truck's clean. All right, so you're saying the drivetrain, or motor speed control.
Motor speed control. If I was going to say complete drivetrain, then make sure you upgrade the internals and stuff like that of your transmission. But really just start off with your motor speed controller, get the reliability down with that, and then the rest of the stuff follows.
Yeah, because a stock drivetrain doesn't really twist drive shafts like a good one does.
Right.
Like, because I never had any drivetrain problems until I put a 35-turn system in my truck.
I twisted a couple of axles.
Now, keep in mind, I also lock my slippers solid. So there is no slip in my system. Where, all of a sudden, I've actually torn a tire right off the rim because it got caught. I was like, I can get through this. And then the bead tore my tire.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But that was also with the Tekin system in it, not with the stock system.
Yeah.
Because the stock system would just overheat and die.
Yeah, it would just... That's all it would do. How about you?
Suspension.
Suspension is a good one.
The biggest change I've seen in some of these rigs is upgrading your suspension.
I'll second that with the F-bomb. When I put those 100mm shocks on that truck, oh yeah. Actually, funny enough, I bought all the GCM stuff to do the front motor, transfer case, 3-link, everything. Won't fit the suspension. It took all the GCM stuff off my truck. Yeah. It won't fit because the suspension's too long and it creates too much, bump steer in the front axle. I just took it off. I literally canceled an entire project because I'd have to put different suspension on my truck.
See, and I just would have went with a 4-link instead of a 3-link front and to help eliminate that, and still went with the front motor mount.
Yeah.
I just listened to him complain and bought 90s instead.
Yeah. Golden. Dick.
The benefits of having Joe somewhat close. Hey, dude, how's that project coming? I'm not doing it. Suspension won't fit. What's wrong with it? Shock's too long. Oh, so if I buy the short shocks, I can do your project instead? Yeah, dude, you could, but I wouldn't. Why not? Because then you'd be filming it, not me.
True. But you know what? Between the
Film
two of
to
us,
follow.
yeah, I was gonna say between the two of us, we have so many parts that have never been installed before.
Our kit's built.
I went to his basement one day, and he's like, "Come and check out my my RC room." And I went downstairs, and there's boxes of parts he bought off me a year ago. And I was like, "Dude, you haven't even opened it yet." He's like, "Oh, I forgot that was even there." You open it up, there's Pitbull tires, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot I had those." And he's got bins of motors. I forgot I had those. And then you found 2 brand new RS ESCs. I forgot I had those. And I'm like,
I'm in the basement.
The good news is,
Gen 2s.
if I leave with something, you won't even know it was there.
He'll remember his B443 though.
Yeah. So I say
Still waiting.
I say the 4 corners: tires, rims, and foams. But if you had to do them in a specific order, go tires first, then foams, and then rims as long as you're running beadlocks. Otherwise, go rims, tires, foams. You say a motor speed controller setup, which for the price, like an FXR and a 35 turn, cheap. And they're this big.
You can fit the FXR with your receiver in the receiver box.
And then waterproof the receiver box.
Yeah.
And no, there's no heat problems. And you're saying suspension.
Yeah.
King suspension, 90mm.
Yeah.
Dick. All right, so the next question here, and this is actually an old one because this paper is miscolored and the handwriting's not that great. So Blake, I'm going to say that it's early, Ely, E-A-L-Y. I don't know, there's no E's. I'm going to say Blake. From Iowa says, if you could have any of DJ Medic's RCs at no cost, what would it be? So we talked about this earlier, and you guys both just went.
Yep.
So guys, what is it?
Front end loader.
The front, yeah. So now, funny enough, if we had asked this question back when the question first came out, that would not have been your answer because he didn't exist with that. Yeah. But that front end loader is batshit crazy. Like, there's a video of Medic standing in the bucket and it lifting him up, and what a machine. Like, full hydraulic setup, what a machine. He said it's 500 pounds?
Yeah.
Like, 500-pound RC.
Weighs 500, we'll push 500, we'll lift 250.
It'd plow the driveway in no time.
I would probably just put like a first-person view camera on the front of it and plow the driveway from the shitter.
Kenny, you paying attention?
Yeah. So you guys are saying the front loader. For me, it's a little bit different. Medic has a truck that I am absolutely deadly in love with, and I always have been. And he is one of the pieces of inspiration why I want to get this truck for myself. Oh. Take a second, guys. What truck do I really want for my... I'm not going to say bitch or complain. What am I constantly saying that I want to buy?
D90.
No, Trailfinder 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
His Trailfinder 2, I love Top Gear. We've already discussed this today. I would not be James May. Top Gear did an episode with the Toyota Helix. Indestructible Toyota truck. And it is, if you guys watch Top Gear, you'll see it kind of on a pintle, kind of just laying it up on the side. It's a demolished, annihilated Toyota Helix. He made one, and the body is done. The way he painted it, the way he added the relief to it, the way he bent and dented the panels, and it just looks like a Toyota that's been through war and back. And he's made some really sick videos of it. And actually, if you go to the RC4WD website, and you look at the Trailfinder 2, they actually show you his picture of his truck as an example of what the truck can look like. The RC4DB actually has it on their website. And I love that truck. He's made some phenomenal videos with it, and I know he's got it laying around somewhere, and I love that truck. So if I could have any of his rigs, and you guys can have the front loader, that's fine. You're more than welcome to shovel my driveway. I will be off playing with the Top Gear truck. So I'm actually going to list a note. I want you guys to take a look down below. I'm going to put the link, Top Gear truck.
He got one of the first D90s too, didn't he? He did a lot to a D90, I think, at one point, did he not?
Very possible, yeah. He does, I mean, his builds are pretty badass.
Yeah.
So, front end loaders for these guys, Top Gear truck for these guys. Funny, the sucks part is, I've spoken with Medic, he never, ever sells any of his stuff. So there's no way for me to get it. Not happening.
And I couldn't afford the front end loader if I tried.
No. So the bucket is, after this question, the bucket is now empty, guys, so you need to send more questions. Bench questions, I do this is the signal that you're putting it down below. Benchquestions@gmail.com is where the question is going to go. Okay, so this one comes from Brandy. Last name, are you going with Weissenbach?
Sure.
Weissen,
Looks good.
Weisenbach. Weissenbach. That's what we're going with.
All right, Brandy.
What, this is my previous handwriting. What name brand and what motor turn brush motor would you run in your trail/mud truck if you only had a 2-cell LiPo, and why? This one we can probably answer fairly quickly. 35 turn for me.
30 turn Tekin.
35. Tekin?
Tekin.
Yeah, sorry.
It's 2-cell. I'd want the extra wheel speed for a mud truck.
Yeah.
30 turn.
I had the 2-cell in my truck when we started running mud. I had enough to get out.
Yeah.
And I wanted the slow speed. You know, there were times where I needed a bump, maybe something like that. But guess what? You need a bump sometimes in the real world as well.
Yeah.
So I would go with the 35. You go with the 35, and Steve doesn't know what he's talking about.
No.
Just playing. He'd take a 30. But Tekin is the general consensus.
Yeah.
And again, I kind of want to list this because a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are just a bunch of Team Red lovers. Well, yeah, we are. Yeah. And yes, there are other motors out there. I'm pretty sure other people have bought them before. But for my money, I'm only going to pay for the stuff that I really like if it's in my own personal trucks. So, yeah. What time is it right now?
It is 9:30.
Perfect. So, guys, I was like, in a half hour, I'll close the vote for the viewer's truck, but I won't even have this video released until tomorrow. So, in a half hour, I will take a screenshot of it and post it online, which will already have happened by the time you watch this video. Yeah. So, nothing of what I'm saying right now makes any damn difference at all.
By the time he releases this video, chances are he will have a screenshot attached to the end of this video of it, so just in case you haven't seen it on the website.
False promises.
Hold on. I'm going to make a note of that.
Yeah.
I did
just
say
like,
maybe.
you know, how long are those new portal axles?
Shut up!
Half an hour!
You know what? You guys...
How long?
Keep them busy for a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
See? Public shaming does work.
Get out of here.
It does.
That's where I got this measuring tape from.
No, I don't know.
From a pit bag over there. I don't know whose it was.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Exactly.
we're going to officially get the answer on here because I was smart enough to make the portal video, but not smart enough to actually answer the question that everyone has been asking, especially when in the video I say, the answer to the question that everyone's asking.
It'll be at the end of the video.
And then I forgot to put it there. So I'm going to have to put this on there.
So for the record, 8.5. The starting measurement.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's what the stock axles are.
Stock axles. I watched it twice.
Just in case you missed it?
Just in case I missed it.
Take the pin out. All right, so stock width on the front. What are we doing? End to end?
End to end.
So end to end is about, this will work, flip it upside down. End to end is 9 1/4. And then the inside of the knuckle to the inside of the knuckle is just under 8. So 9 1/4 wide. It does make the truck wider.
3/4 of an inch wider.
Yeah. So
the funny thing is, I already knew that because when he was building it, we measured originally, and he told me that.
And I forgot to write it down. It takes time and energy to do the dumb things that I do. Okay, so
Just ask his wife.
that's what she needs, another face palm. All right, so there's your answer. Oh, I should write that down. What was it?
9 1/4. It adds 3/4 of an inch in the overall width,
And it
and
was
just under 8 from C hub to C hub. If that's what you want to call it.
from chub to chub.
You keep smiling when you say chub.
Chub. All right. So clearly we need some more questions. So please, guys, remember, send them to benchquestions@gmail.com. That's pretty important so we can get some more questions and make another show for you. The next show here, remember, guys, it doesn't have to be about scale. I find a lot of people, yes, the site is called Scale Freak. I get that. But scale is also drift, and scale can also be race. And of the guys that we have helping out with the show, there's the drifter guys. Remember, Pumbaa and Dave are massive drifters.
Yeah.
These guys love to race. Pumbaa and Dave like to race as well. I have a racing history. My drifting was about 15 minutes in this garage, and then I sold the car.
Mine was, I didn't even build it. I got it partially built and then sold the car. I couldn't get into it.
Yeah,
Mine was, I bought it, Joe built it, and it sits over there.
yeah, it's still here. The shocks aren't done yet, and the body's not painted. But hey, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, but that's not necessarily a drifter either. It can be used for drifting, but it's a rally car.
Yeah.
I really did love this truck. This is the truck I've had the longest, and I'm not ever gonna get rid of it. It's always nice to have that one rig that you're like, yeah, no matter what happens, you're with me.
Yeah.
So when he's in the doghouse, he gets to cuddle up to this. The dog, this just makes more room for the dogs in his bed.
Yeah, that's true. But I really do love this truck. I got to get this thing done soon. You guys have had a lot of patience with this project, and I want to get it done, put together, and built.
It's never done.
It never will be done. No, I want to get it caught up. How's that? That a better way to say it? So that's it, guys. Let's end this one here. I don't even know how long this was. I forgot to set a timer, but that's fine. You'll see the count on the bottom.
Yeah.
So, of course, guys, benchquestions@gmail.com. Send in your questions. Remember, again, leave a shout-out for yourself, who you are, where you're from. That way you can hear your name on here. People love that stuff. And then, of course, let me know if there's someone specific. Actually, you know what? Don't forget to write that. Maybe there's someone you actually, like, this is a question I'd like to have with Antler on the show. This is a question I'd like to have with Steve on the show. Kick that Joe guy off the show,
yeah.
Stuff like that. And we'll go from there. And then, other than that, guys, please remember to like the channel, or like the video. Show your support. That's the same thing I just said. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. That's what I meant to say. It helps a ton, and then you actually get not only updates about bench questions, but of my projects, of my opinion videos, stuff like that. Yeah. And go check out some of the past videos. Don't forget to check the links down below. We've talked about some companies here that I really feel need some recognition. So you're going to find links for RC4WD, Reflex Racing, Exotech, RDS, Taken, Madram, Novak. Like, these are companies that really help bring this all together. So, of course, we're talking about them. Go check them out. All the links are down below if you want to know what we're talking about. Some of the stuff will actually put direct links to products we may have talked about on the video. Yeah. But show them some love, because again, we wouldn't have this stuff if it wasn't for them. And of course, guys, I'm going to look into a P.O. box probably in the next 2 months. I'm going to be realistic with the fact that I told you guys.
Slow.
I told you guys this will be coming in January. And guess what? The first episode will actually be like February 1st. Is tomorrow the 31st?
No, today's 31st.
Yeah. So I'll have taped it today in January, and you will get your first one in February. So sue me.
And I also said, and I remember this clearly.
Don't say anything about a live video.
No,
don't say anything about.
Wasn't going to say that, but he did say that the reason why he was waiting till towards the end of January is because he wanted to paint. Oh wait, none of that happened yet either.
You know what's actually funny? I kept talking about wanting to get stuff painted in here, and I actually received a few messages about not painting. They said specifically, do not paint. We like the set looking like your garage. Make it look like it's just the place that everyone hangs out. Which is funny enough, because it's the place that everyone hangs out. In the past, there's literally been, you'd see 3 people in front of the camera and 6 people behind the camera chilling out watching.
Making fun of us.
Making fun of us and adding their comments, yeah. So,
Peanut gallery.
Yeah, so I've actually had people say, please don't paint the shop, please don't make it look professional. It's just a garage, which is true. Which is why I'm still going to paint part of it. It's brown, guys, and it sucks up all the light. And it's actually really hard to light this place because the brown literally sucks up all the light. So there's a few things I want to get painted.
The ceiling.
The ceiling, definitely. And I need to get some new lights installed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe get a couch.
Oh, beanbag chairs. Man, we'd all just be like, oh, let's just nap. And
we'd be sitting in the beanbag chairs at the end of it going, somebody help us up, we're old.
Yeah. But hey, we got a new table and stuff like that. Yeah. So my wife thankfully donated this to me when I broke a couple of the chairs. So she's like, well, we can't replace the chairs, so now you owe me a new dining room set. So we inherited this one. Damn it. But all right, guys. Actually, I didn't really break the chairs. She just got sick of me stealing them from the house to bring them to the garage, and then forgetting to put them back. So, but okay, let's actually wrap this up. So, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please comment below. Share everywhere. And
Share love.
benchquestions@gmail.com. So, any parting thoughts?
Run it like you stole it.
Ooh, that's a good one. You?
Chris Caddy.
Chris Caddy. Sigh.
We'll never leave this one.
No. You know what? One day I'd love to get him on the show. He's not a camera guy. Not in front of the camera guy. I shouldn't say he's not a camera guy because his profession is audiovisual technician. Like, this guy this is like MacGyver with, I need a video camera. Okay, give me a snorkel and an apple and an ice pick. He'll make it. And a lighting technician too, and sound and everything.
And watch his first-person flight videos and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you know what? Go check out Chris Keddy's channel too, because he's got some cool stuff on there.
Road trip to Keddy's garage.
Yeah.
He'll drift in it.
This episode of Bench Questions at Keddy's garage.
Yeah, another garage. You would just do a garage tour. How funny would that be?
What about Steve's garage?
Wait, we're in sort of. We'll just have to position it.
Just move over there towards Steve's bench.
Yeah, we'll just move it to Steve's bench. Yeah, which is, by the way, where I let the lipo on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, don't burn your stuff. Burn someone else's.
Charger still works. Or still works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. All right, so for real, I'm ending it. You guys have an amazing night. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for demanding that the show comes back. I put it on the high on my priority list.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, the patience is...
And thanks for putting up with us.
And thanks for watching this video. So, guys, thank you very much. And, ready, guys? Ready? Have a good night.